Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the Save Continue podcast. My name is Ryan Robinson. With me, as always, Shanee Howard.
Hi.
Back for the very first time, Tom Shelby.
Hi guys.
Every week, two of us or three of us get together and
Usually
talk about
three.
video games. Usually three, sometimes four. Sandy's hanging out.
Sure.
We get together, talk about video games and other shit for about an hour and a half. Tom,
Sure.
you've been away for some time.
Yeah.
You've been on the high seas.
Yeah.
How was your trip?
It was better than expected. I'll say that.
Shanee, did you shake this up before you brought it in here, bud?
It was definitely better than I expected it to be. Went to Jamaica. Went to Grand Cayman. Went to Cozumel.
Tell us about some of the adventures you got up to.
Not much actually, man. I mean, most of it's hanging out on the boat.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot to do on the boat for certain demographics, but not so much for me.
Was there a magic show?
I don't think so. No.
There probably was. He didn't go to it.
Lame.
But you know, there's
Tom doesn't
there's a
believe in
casino and a bunch of swimming pools.
Did you
and stuff
gamble?
like that? I did not. No. Went and saw a couple of comedy shows. They were okay.
What is up with cruise food?
Yeah. Cruise food you would have loved.
Yeah. Was it cheeseburgers?
All the cheeseburgers you can eat.
Oh man.
So many Vienna sausages.
24-hour pizza.
Oh.
You know, it was all right. As far as getting off the boat, a lot of beaches.
Yeah.
So many
Spelunking.
beaches.
What is Jamaica like?
It's really, really pretty. Apparently pretty crime riddled, but I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you were at the resorty part.
Well, I was at the beach for most of the day, but I did some walking around.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Also, you're doing all the crimes, so
Sure.
people didn't want to mess with you.
I got lost in Mexico. Got offered lots of churros
Cool.
and Vita jewelries,
Cool.
and found my way back to the Gulf by the stink of it. But yeah. Switch was like my savior,
Sure.
so I played a lot of Switch. And yeah, I was telling Shanee, I was all set to beat Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on a beach. And I thought, how fitting for that game, you know? But I couldn't beat it, and ended up beating it when I got home. So.
Yeah. How long was the cruise? How long was each leg of it? Because I feel like that would have been a lot of long stretches of boring water, and that's it.
So like it was boat for like 2 days,
Man,
and then stop, and then
Cool.
boat and back home.
cool, man.
But yeah, Tropical Freeze,
Boats and
excellent.
beaches.
First time beating it.
Yeah.
Really fucking good. And been playing Captain Toad Treasure Tracker as my bedtime game.
That sounds like a good bedtime game.
And it's now getting deep into Mario Tennis.
How is
And
that?
Pool Panic.
Pool Panic's kind of side bitch right now. But Mario Tennis Aces is not the best Mario Tennis game. But if you were foolish enough to buy and play the Mario Tennis that was on Wii U,
Okay.
this is significantly better than that.
Okay. GameCube one better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about this pool game.
Pool Panic, so you might remember it was announced at an Indies event earlier in the year, maybe last year.
Yeah.
It's an adult swim game. It's pool, but it's really fucking weird, so it's all cartoony, and
The balls have personality.
balls have personalities. Some of them will run away from you. You are very rarely playing on like an actual pool table. It's more like different environments. So I got to like this campground, right? And like a couple of the pool balls are like squirrels. So like they'll run up into trees and you're like, how the fuck am I supposed to hit that?
Yeah.
And you got to figure out how to hit that.
Hit
You know?
the tree.
There's also a very unnerving pool cue.
Yeah.
Like chalk thing.
And yeah, so it's really about it. I'm about to start the Sexy Brutale, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah, I have that in my library.
I've never played it, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It does look nice.
And yeah, that's really about it.
Shanee, tell us of your life in the past week.
I beat Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Yay!
I did not do, because like you can like meld commands in there to like build your command library. It's kind of like one of the side things you can do. I didn't do all of those, but I did get all the treasure chests and other collectible stuff. I already beat Kingdom Hearts Point 2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage twice, because it's like 4 or 5 hours long, and it's fantastic and beautiful. And then I'm playing Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, and I am just rushing through this game because I am
tired of Kingdom Hearts at this point.
Well, I'm just remembering how clunky it was even when I originally played it on the 3DS and not on the PS4. And it just, like, after playing Birth by Sleep and then the Fragmentary Passage, which, like, the combat system is a lot different, it just feels so much more dumbed down. There's not really much of a story there.
I tried to jump into that game when it first came out and, like, did the Ursula fight, which is, like, at the very beginning of the game.
That's the intro.
And, like, I dipped after that fight. I'm like, I can't do this.
That was literally...
I know. It just controls terribly. At least on 3DS, controls like shit.
Well, like, it's... Yeah, it's out of...
And I don't know how I expect it to control, but, you know.
It's my third least favorite.
Is the presentation similar to the PlayStation ones?
I mean, it was pretty. I thought even on 3DS it looked good.
Well, the thing is, like... So they had, like, a lot of, like, really colorful, like, creatures called nightmares, which, like, you can also create your own, like, from, like, material you get, and they're your pets that, like, fight alongside of you, and, like, you can just keep like creating more, and they call them spirits. So nightmare's bad, spirit's good.
Sure.
It's basically, let's add Kingdom Hearts Neopets and put a very thin story there, and like
it's making me think of like the Chows in Sonic Adventure.
I like those. I took them to school with me.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What was that thing called?
VMU.
VMU. There you go.
Yeah, like...
I wanted to say UMD. I was like, nope, that's not it.
Like, I remember not liking it that much on the 3DS, and now you have to, like, pet them and, like, feed them treats, and...
I like that.
Like, do, like, little mini-games, but, like, you...
Nintendogs.
So, like...
That sounds like having a dog.
So, from each of your little, like, pet spirits that you have, like, with you, then they, as you fight with them and do, like, pet them and, like, feed them treats and do mini-games, you get points, and you use those points to do a skill tree for each, like, spirit. So depending on how good it is, what's gonna, like, it's gonna unlock, but you have to keep fighting with it, and it's just, like, the game's already clunky. The story's, like, alright, the dialogue in Kingdom Hearts does have a lot to be desired.
Okay.
But, like, I know, surprise, surprise. But, like, overall, there's, like, a good story in there, and yes, a lot of the games are, like, super just dense. Just a lot of information thrown at you. But this is, like, no information spread along a really long time, and it's, like, adding my least favorite parts of the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, which is the gummy ship, and, like, making that even worse, because it's just taking the ship out of it, and you just gotta do it yourself, and then, like...
Gummy ship's back.
And you have to do it twice for each world, because...
I like gummies.
You play as Sora and Riku, and you go in between them, and, like, you have, like a timer, and once that timer's up, you go switch to the switch to the next person, and then once their timer's up, you switch to the next person. So there are things that you can, like, items you can get to extend your timer, but it's something, also another mechanic you have to pay attention to, and, like, kind of plan around if you, like, want to, and it's it's my third least favorite Kingdom Hearts game so far. But it is also a lot of hours, so I'm still trying to complete it, and, like, all, like, the collectibles, but, like, I'm
loving it.
I am not enjoying it. Like, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep had, like, a learning curve, and once I figured out all the mechanics, it was super fun. I have the mechanics figured out for this, and it's not fun.
You're just suffering through this game to get yourself caught up?
Yeah, because also, like, it's my third least favorite, so it's not the worst of the series.
Because suffering through a game...
Yeah, fuck that.
...is, like, something
You've already played it.
Yeah, I can't do. Like, you've played
I didn't beat it.
Then watch the fucking ending.
Yeah, man.
Don't play it if you're not having fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I still like that I like the sense of achievement.
Like, the moment a game becomes work, I dip.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are some things I like about the game, which is why it's my third least. Like I do like the colorfulness of it. I like the fun enemies. Like I like that, and I like the idea that they play with as far as why it's dropping in between that. And I like some of the interactions that happen. Some of them are not good, but I just like.
You're not selling it.
But like, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna beat it because I want to play and beat all of them. The only ones that I'm gonna like watch are the ones that they have just the movies for on the Final Mix collections, and then I watched Chain of Memories because fuck card games like that.
Okay.
Fair enough.
You know, there's another game that has a timer that has you switching between characters, and it's called Shadow Man Second Coming.
Is it good?
No. Because by day you are Michael Leroy, by night you are the Shadow Man.
Sounds awful.
You know, as far as games based on comic books, based on New Orleans voodoo lore are concerned,
It's alright.
yeah.
It's up there.
I mean, as far as I know, the Shadow Man games are the only one of their kind. So, like, by default, they are both the best and worst in that category.
You know what's funny is like Infamous 2 almost fits that. Only Infamous was never a real comic.
Yeah.
Well, they made a comic about it, but
Well, sure, but like it was a game first.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've also been playing a lot of Pokemon Go again, and I've been working on a living Pokedex, like I said last time. I just got an Oho, and I'm pretty excited about that.
You know, I'm seeing a lot of Pokemon Go pop up in the social media and Twitter sphere lately, which is really neat.
It's been a lot of fun. It's
neat seeing people be excited about something.
Well, it's just also like community days or like events like getting the Oho, which is like a legendary Pokemon, one of the new legendary
You know,
birds.
Oho is Spanish for eye. So.
Sure.
It's not spelled the same as that, but
Sure.
yes, correct. But
There's
yeah,
also a lot of people that are like trying to get ready for Let's Go and get as much as they can to take into that game.
Are you doing that?
no, I haven't run into too many people that have like talked about that being their goal. But like on those raid days, it's fun because we go to places that like we know there's like a gym and stuff, so you can raid with people, and when you just end up talking to random people that are like all have the different hobbies and interests. So it's been nice like just seeing and talking to random people and having a common interest.
Yeah.
It's
That was always my favorite thing about when the craze was at its peak. My favorite thing about that was how often it involved people, like strangers, like getting together and being nice to each other.
Yeah, but now it's a lot different because all because of the raids and the trading and stuff like that. Like Birdo was at a park walking Luna and played Pokemon Go, and this girl was like, "Oh hey,"
Flirting with him.
no, she was like, "Oh hey, you're playing Pokemon Go. Like, I have to travel out for my job, and like you get different bonuses if you travel. Like the further away that you trade Pokemon."
Right.
So she traded him like a Clefairy from Ireland.
Oh, so she was from Ireland.
She just traveled there.
Okay.
But yeah, like
Oh yeah, because different countries or regions have like exclusive Pokemon, right?
Yeah, he didn't get one of those, but like he did get, but you also get like medals and XP and stuff like that from like having them be further distance.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know, just like talk to random ass people and it's fun.
A lot of people from the cruise playing that Pokemon Go.
Were there any?
These different destinations, and I'm like, you motherfuckers are paying your providers the money for the data to play this game just so you can catch these fuckers in different countries?
Well, like
They might have data plans.
yeah, they might have a travel plan that makes it kind of economical. So
Maybe. I doubt most of those people did. I'm sure some people did, but most people don't do that shit.
yeah.
I don't know. Like it's fun. It makes like it a lot easier to like walk Luna because like random places and like go to these parks and like get her new stimulation because I'm getting something out of it as well besides enjoyment with my dog.
Playing Pokemon
Should be
Go
enough,
would
but,
be impossible
you know.
with
You
cinnamon.
have kids.
Yeah, I have kids. You have a dog.
I know. I'm saying a dog doesn't like talk back or get grumpy or cry or throw fits.
My kids don't shit on the floor. So, even, I guess.
I'm saying like I'm just whatever.
I see what you're saying, Shanee. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I picked up Mafia 3 again. because it was free on PlayStation Plus. Now, hold on. I already own the game. I
Yeah.
purchased it for the Xbox One back when it came out.
Why hold on though?
Hold on. Okay. But anyway, so I got decently far into the game, and then I kind of just stopped playing it. I think the last time I played it was Extra Life 2 years ago.
I think so. Yes.
And then so I downloaded and installed it this time, and I am a lot more fully engrossed in that game than I was back when it came out.
You liked it a lot then.
Yeah, but like it didn't hold.
It didn't keep you.
It didn't keep me like in the way that it's like I'm actually find myself actively thinking about that game when I'm not playing it now, which wasn't the case before. And I don't know what it is because I will say this though a lot of the criticisms of that game have, from what I've heard anyway, have a lot to do with the mechanical and gameplay aspect of the game.
Correct.
A lot of praise for the story, which is excellent, by the way, but also a lot of criticisms leveled at the gameplay aspect. I've put quite a number of hours into that game, and I've picked out. Well, I've noticed a lot of things that I like about it, in that particular regard. One of the things that I remember pointing out when you were playing Singularity was I liked the kind of the sense of, I guess, impact is the word that I want to use. Whenever you shot an enemy in that game,
We refer to that as the downwell effect.
the downwell effect, very punchy. Okay, but it had like a really good like visual feel to it.
You know, I love that.
And that's very prevalent in like the motion capture in Mafia 3 is excellent. And getting these gunfights are like engaging because of that level of detail in there. The way that Lincoln moves and the way that his enemies move when like he engages them, when he shoots them, and by extension when he is also hurt by them. It's just very like seeing it kind of makes it a more immersive experience.
Is it like The Last of Us? Like, in The Last of Us, you hit an enemy and like you really feel that fucking hit.
Yeah, well, the thing I like about The Last of Us, especially like playing it on grounded mode where all the weapon damage is rebalanced,
Yeah.
is like you take a weapon like one of the revolvers in that game, and you hit a guy with that and he's going down. Like one bullet puts him down every time. And there was always like a really like, especially playing on that mode where like every bullet matters and like every engagement could be your last. When like
I couldn't do grounded. I tried.
When you land that shot and it just hits him and the guy goes out, just like there's something to it because like, okay, I survived another engagement, right? Yeah. And it's kind of like that, and the way and that was also helped by the fact that like that game also has excellent motion capture too.
Yeah. Performance capture.
Yeah, and that was just, and that's kind of what's helping me to be drawn into the experience of Mafia 3. And I think that honestly the worst part about Mafia 3 is the driving aspect. I don't think the driving is particularly good.
But for the most part, like I'm sure there's the occasional mission that involves driving.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just a way to get from point A to point B, right?
Yeah, a lot of it. Like, like 2 nights ago, I did a mission that involved me being in a car chase.
Yeah.
And
you hated it.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't have the best time doing it, right? Yeah. But also, it did something. They did something in that game that I haven't really seen in a lot of open world games. Well, specifically open world games that allow use of vehicles and also allow use of weapons while in those vehicles, which was the ability to lock on to specific parts of the car that you want to shoot at. Like it'll allow you to lock onto a tire, or it'll allow you to lock onto the gas tank or the engine or even the driver. And I found that really cool. Like when for example, like I if you kill cops, then like the I guess the equivalent to that game's wanted meter will go up like a lot higher, right?
Sure.
So if I wanted to get the cops to leave me alone while they were chasing me, so I shot out the tire. I locked on the tire and shot it, and that kind of ended the chase right there. And being able to do things like that is really neat, especially when
You're like the Terminator.
yeah, actually
They'll live.
it's funny because there is a shotgun like that.
Cool.
Which became like my weapon of choice. But
Road Redemption finally coming to consoles.
finally. Which it's funny because Road Rash came up in conversation recently with like it was casual conversation with friends, and they were talking about how they were like, they would like ask a question like, what's an IP that you want to see brought back? That's like a long dormant IP, and I was like, and someone said Road Rash, and then I said just play Road Redemption.
Yeah, it's better than Road Rash.
Yeah, it's Road Rash with guns in it, and yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Mafia 3 and kind of really engaging that story and having a really good time as far as, you know, like taking those characters in and I think that like my opinion, like as far as like my social, like the way that I digest things, that like I interact with like socially, has kind of shaped how I appreciate that game as well. Like, and also just the plain enjoyment of shooting a guy in the face after he calls me the N-word is really fun.
Sure.
But yeah, I've been putting a lot of time into that. Also, my my Doom record came in today, and I was really excited.
That.
I was so excited. And I it came with four records, and a slip mat that just says Doom on it, and it came with CDs that I'm never gonna use, but they're there. I thought about like playing those CDs in my car, and then I thought about like I imagined myself like taking, like when the CD ended, like taking it out and turning it over and putting it back in my CD player like an idiot.
Yeah, Doom 2016 soundtrack, man, like the work that Mick Gordon's been doing in games lately has been very good. And like
Yeah.
you and I both talked about that soundtrack when it first came out, that like we don't really listen to that kind of
Yeah.
music anymore. But like you can't deny that it's very, very good.
Yeah.
I do think that if you hear more of it, like the Prey soundtrack is something I would listen to.
Yeah.
You know, like I would listen to that
You know,
driving around.
It's funny. The funny thing about the Prey soundtrack, well, I think his work at large, because you hear his work in Wolfenstein 2 as well.
Mhm.
But like I knew it was him before I looked it up.
Yeah, you wouldn't with Prey.
Yeah. Yeah, because with Wolfenstein 2, like it, like the kind of the it starts to sound a little bit like the Doom soundtrack.
Yeah, it gets
a little
into
bit.
there.
But he kind of has, like Mick Gordon kind of has like a very distinct, like kind of writing style and technique that he uses that kind of makes it to where you get to the point where you can kind of identify him, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, like I think that like would I listen to anything else that falls into the genre of the Doom soundtrack? Probably not, because that's not really my thing anymore. But I think that's also a testament to how good that soundtrack is.
Sure.
Because I was literally just sitting there listening to it in my living room for like an hour earlier this afternoon, and it's excellent. Which, you know, also got me thinking, like it was me sitting there daydreaming about playing Doom Eternal, because I really want to play that game, especially after watching that gameplay demo that they did. It was just I really need to play that game soon.
Because I've been replaying the games and Kingdom Hearts games, and like obviously like rehashing new information or like information I didn't catch before, or like it's kind of completing pictures. I've been rewatching some of the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers to be like, oh, this is gonna connect to this, and like making a hypothesis. Oh, I'm so excited.
I wonder if and that's, see, the thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 is like I'm probably never gonna play it, but I watched the excitement build around it for people who have been looking forward to that game for so long.
It looks very good.
And and like I genuinely so badly want that game to be everything that you guys want it to be.
Oh,
It will be. It doesn't have to be much.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like every Kingdom Hearts game, there's things that I'm like, I wish this world was in it, or I wish this was different.
Yeah. And that's gonna happen.
And
again.
like, I mean, yeah,
Yep.
or I'm just like, or there's like a new cool idea, like someone I see on like the Kingdom Hearts subreddit or something, of like things they could do, and like, you know, I've been looking for this game for so long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna like it. Even I think it would be very hard for me to hate this game.
You see that with like hardcore, like dedicated fan bases, you know, of certain directors or certain teams or certain IP. Kingdom Hearts, regardless of what 3 turns out to be, the majority of that community is gonna love it.
Yeah.
You know.
I think a lot of it has to do with how dense the lore is.
Sure.
That like once you, and because if you just like casually play it, a lot of these things are like, all right, fuck it, like whatever. But like once you get into it, you're like, I need to know more of the story. And so even if like they just add some information like they did with like Kingdom Hearts Dream of Distance, there's still a lot of people that like really enjoyed it for whatever information
Right.
they mined from it. And I feel like as long as they're adding to the story, like the dedicated fans are gonna like it.
Exactly. And that's the thing with Kingdom Hearts, like it could be to that game's detriment. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 will be a very polarizing game, much in the same way The Last Guardian was, right? The Last Guardian won Game of the Year from many outlets and got very bad reviews from other outlets, you know? I think the Kingdom Hearts fans are going to love it, and I think other people will probably pick it apart. But ultimately, it's not going to matter. Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to sell just fine.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen recurring complaints while watching the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers over and over again, like when I read the YouTube comments, of a lot of it being on like Xbox controls, but I'm like, everyone knows it's going to be on PS4. Of course the marketing is going to put it on there for Xbox. It's
Sure.
to remind you that's there. I thought it was weird to see those complaints already.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, it... But, I mean, like, even though
It's a big get for Xbox.
It is. And I'm just, like, looking at the trailers, looking at what the gameplay was, because, like, Fragmentary Passage is supposed to be kind of, like, right before Kingdom Hearts 3, and, like, just playing that, which is, like, a 4-hour game, I'm just, like, all the trailers for 3 look even better, like, graphically and, gameplay-wise, as far as how the fluidity, and, like, it was so fluid in that, and I'm just, like, I'm already excited. Like, I don't see how it's gonna be, like, terrible.
Sure.
I'm under no delusion that game would be terrible, especially considering, one, who's developing it, and two, how long it's taken that game to come out. And, you know, I think it's gonna be nice to see, you know, people finally get their hands on that game and see the dedicated fans who've been waiting for it really enjoy it. And that's something that I find that I'm able to appreciate more and more, where, you know, there are plenty of franchises and series that I'm probably never going to consume or engage in just because it doesn't really interest me personally. But, you know, watching people get really excited about a new game in a franchise and have it actually pan out the way that they wanted it to is really exciting. I've never really been much of a Street Fighter or fighting game person, but when I see like a new thing happen for Street Fighter and then people like actually love it, it's really awesome to see. It's awesome to see people excited and happy about something.
Well, it's like this week, right, with the new Shenmue stuff, like, people are fucking stoked, you know?
Yeah.
I have no intention of ever playing Shenmue.
Yeah.
But, like, good for those people, man. They've waited a long time for that shit, you know?
I don't know what other franchise, like, that would be like Kingdom Hearts, where, like, even if it wasn't a good game, people would still love it.
Shenmue.
Yeah.
Shenmue?
For sure. I think that people that have been waiting that long for Shenmue 3
How long
are
has it been for
going
Shenmue
to
3?
fucking love it.
I mean,
Shenmue 2 is original Xbox.
Oh, shit.
Well, I mean, actually, like, if you, like, it came out on original Xbox, but it actually, like, it released in, I think it was Europe and Japan only on Dreamcast. And, I mean, the thing of it is, like, you can go back to it.
What was the Shinmu on the 3DS?
I didn't know that
I
there
know there was one.
I thought there was. I might be thinking of a different game.
You might be, but
I probably am.
anyway, like you go back to, because like they just re-released like the first 2 games, and I mean you go back to those and they're, and in my opinion they're just, you know, looking back on they're not great games, but
For the time, though.
yeah, for the time, like they did a lot to like the open world genre was it wasn't is where it is now, right? It wasn't
Right.
like there wasn't a lot of that going on, so like to play Shenmue back in 2000
Yep.
and see a game like that, it was like, I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't impressed
Oh yeah.
20 years ago when that game came out.
Well, it's so interesting to see the right, like those just came out. Those remasters just came out, and fans are already modding them to make them look even better. Like already, there's several mods out to make them look even better.
And
you know? Like that fan base is fucking dedicated.
yeah, and you know, like, and will I play Shenmue 3?
Why not?
I don't know. Probably
Not
not.
likely.
It's not like, because I couldn't get myself through Shenmue 2, so
Yeah.
the odds that I'll play Part 3 are negligible. But you know, seeing how excited they are and seeing people take what they have, like what they've been given of that game, and just talk about how excited they are is really encouraging. And because I think that it's encouraging because it shows, because I do so much complaining about like the really bad parts of the video game community, that I have to also take the time to appreciate the really awesome parts of it.
Yeah.
And it sucks when like you have people posting about Shenmue 3 and like I can't wait to play this game. I'm playing Shenmue 2 right now. I just bought it and I'm really excited. I'm playing it, just waiting for Shenmue 3. And you have someone who comes in there like, who basically talks about how like shitty those games are by today's standards, which obviously they would be. They're 20-year-old games. And
very experimental at that for their time.
And you know, it's like, but it's like, dude, just like it's like the old internet adage goes is just let people enjoy things, you know, like let them be excited about it. If it's not for you, then just, you know, shut up.
I don't know, like with the rebuilding of the hype, it's really fun seeing everyone, since they're waiting for the new game, specifically for Kingdom Hearts, like going on the subreddit and seeing all this fun conversation, like what if they did this, what if they did that.
Yeah.
That what if game, like, is why I'm probably gonna be disappointed by a couple of things, because I'm like, oh, these people came up with such a better idea. I'm like, but it's also just like really fun seeing how creative people can be as far as what they would create.
Well, it was funny. We talk about like these fan bases, right, that would love just about anything that comes out. And I can think of a lot of franchises that are that way, not just Shenmue and Kingdom Hearts, but like at the same time, maybe we're wrong, because like Mega Man fans were fucking hungry when Mighty Number 9 came out.
Yeah.
Nobody was pleased with that, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that,
and it's not that different
Well,
from
see,
Mega
you know,
Man.
I can't say it's not the same scale, but I mean,
I really feel like the hardcore Mega Man fan is like a very specific kind of video game enthusiast, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I think.
But there are more of them than Kingdom Hearts fans.
But what I'm saying is like, I
You
think
know.
that like they are
You think-
much more
You
analytical.
think more?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just because of the history, how far those
Yeah.
games go back, how like maybe not as many millennials, but people our age who we know are the majority of gamers. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just sales numbers wise, that series has sold more. You know.
I just think that Mega Man fans are probably, you know, much more analytical and like, because one of the things.
I had a sleepy brain moment that we're still talking about Shenmue fans.
No.
Yeah, sorry. I was
What-
like, no, Mega Man fans makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And once you started talking, I was like, I said something
I
dumb.
think you do have a point there, though, right? Because Mega Man fans are all about the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Because like there's like one of the things that draws people, I think, like Mega Man fans to those games, is like the minutia of like those moment to moment gameplay.
You're absolutely right.
And then also, I mean, even things like Street Fighter fans, like there's been Street Fighter games that, like, they fans didn't like, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, well, because like there are very few games
That are like main story, like
Well,
numbered.
Like mainline Street Fighter games? Not really. I mean, one, which nobody really counts one,
Yeah.
you know. All the versions of 2 did extremely well. 3 did not do as well, but is now looked at as one of the best fighting games ever made. You know,
Yeah.
4 kind of brought fighting games back from the dead. 5 didn't do well out the gate, but is pretty fucking strong now. You know, I don't know.
One of the most interesting things about Street Fighter fans specifically, well, like I guess fighting game fans at large, but like I've noticed it more specifically with Street Fighter fans, is how scientific they are about that game, about those games, and like listening to like how they kind of analyze their strategy for different characters and like different matchups and and like all the number crunching and shit that goes into like what could very easily be a 30-second fight.
Yep.
Is just, it's astounding, and it's really awesome.
Dude, that's why I like Smash Brothers Ultimate. Like that's going to be the best Smash Brothers ever made.
Yeah.
Like based off the last direct we saw on it, they are turning that into a more traditional fighting game.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that you can now choose the option to have a gauge for the smash instead of getting the fucking smash ball.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that they now have a proper training stage on a grid.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're trying to make it more of a fighting game.
Yeah. And you think that's more a response to like, that's kind of a response to like the kind of the scrutiny that Smash comes under, like in places like with its presence at EVO, where like there's that debate, like, is Smash really a fighting game?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say because, like, I don't know, man. They've always said that, like, they don't want it to be competitive in that way. They want it to be fun, but they're taking all these steps to sure as hell color it a lot more like a fighting game.
Yeah.
You know? This is the most fighting game Smash has ever been.
And I mean, I think that I think their intentions aside, like, it's just by the nature of the people that play those games, it's just always going to be that.
Sure.
It's always going to be competitive in that way, and
But like those are things that Smash Brothers has never had,
Yeah.
and those are things that almost all fighting games have now.
Yeah.
You know.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what keeps people from considering it to be like a legitimate fighting game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I've always considered Smash to be a fighting game.
I mean, the FGC has welcomed it for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's outsiders who don't consider it to be such, and that
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a different type of fighting game, just like there's different types of shooters.
Yeah.
But they're all shooters.
You know, and you know, watching, you know, then I took a look at some people who, like, you talk about like long running series where like people didn't really like they'll always like what comes out.
Duke Nukem.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I was gonna mention earlier. It cut off, so I was like, I'll just drop it.
Well, see, like one of the things that like.
But a lot of the longtime fans liked it because it was still the same game.
I mean, I think like hardcore Duke fans
Hardcore
didn't
Dukes.
care for it. Like, those are the people that want the fucking 3D Realms games.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the Duke Nukem that matters to most people.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about what came before.
Yeah.
Like most of those people never played the side-scrolling Duke Nukem games. You know, that's just, it was a place and time thing, much like Doom or the original Quake.
Right.
But original Quake is nothing like any Quake after it.
Yeah.
You know, but
Obviously, Final Fantasy, as far as their numbered games, there's some hit and misses.
sure. But there's defenders of all the misses. You know.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, like I've always I've seen more people say that they dislike 8 than I've seen people who say they like it. Of the Final Fantasies that I've played, that's one of my favorites. But also, like, I think about when people say, you know, I don't like this game in the series as much as I like this game in the series. And I've always been like, as far as video games are concerned, like for the most part, I'm always just kind of I'm just happy to be here kind of mindset.
I'm just happy to be invited to the party.
And so like I never really like.
But even the people that complain about 8, the people that complain about 13, 10-2, 11, like these are very vocal minorities.
Yeah.
Those games sold very well.
And,
all of them.
and I'm just like,
all of them.
And like,
you know?
they're different.
Yeah.
But
People
like,
bitched about Resident Evil 5. That was Capcom's best-selling game ever until
like,
Monster Hunter World.
yeah, they're different, but like I can say like I like this thing in Final Fantasy X more than and I wish it were in Final Fantasy VIII, but I like them both.
Yeah.
Like I think that out of all the turn-based Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy X has like the best like combat system. I think, because I just really don't think that there's a reason that there's a real good reason why you shouldn't just be able to switch people out during the fight. I don't know. Anyway, because the way I think of it is like, okay, so let's take Final Fantasy VII, right? And like you have like the whole story is like this whole group of people trying to save the world, right? 3 of them fighting at a time, right? What are the other people doing?
Sure.
While that's going on.
Sure.
Right. So like, and so I always loved I loved the adaptability of combat in Final Fantasy X. It was like, oh, that enemy just showed up. Let me go ahead and switch this out for somebody who can really take down that enemy. I always thought that was great.
Well, and you would love a game called Child of Light.
It's funny about Child of Light. I always get 15 minutes into that
I know
game,
you do.
and then I get distracted, and then I play something else. And it's never. I don't think it has ever been that I'm not having a good time with that game, because I am. Like I like the setup for that game. I like the art style of that game.
Yeah.
The combat's good enough. I don't know what it is that doesn't hold my attention. Like I can't because I've never been able to say that while playing Child of Light, I never sat down and played it and say, you know what, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I just stopped playing it for some reason.
What about the Sonic games?
I've installed it 5
The
times.
Sonic games? Sonic fans, I mean, the fans defend even the shittiest of Sonic games.
Yeah.
You know? And that's just
But
sad.
Well,
has
I also
there
think
ever
that
been not like
I also think that
obviously not
hardcore
abysmal.
Sega fans are like kind of a different breed altogether. But
also not like my number 9 bad, but has there ever been like what Sonic games sold bad? Because I feel like there was one that did like they were like upset about their
I think
sales.
was it Sonic 06? It was just called Sonic the Hedgehog?
yeah.
That was a shitstorm. That didn't do too well. I know that.
Are we counting games that don't star Sonic also like Shadow the Hedgehog?
No.
Okay.
I would.
Just
It's
Sonic
a
games.
Sonic game. It's a fucking Sonic game.
It's made by Sonic Team.
You know?
So.
Well, we're doing like more mainline games.
Sure.
Because I'm not
Sonic
gonna
Heroes wasn't great, but it sold okay.
Well,
Generations,
there's
Colors.
Generations and Colors are pretty well regarded.
Yes.
well, there's that division
You
between.
know, Forces just came out. That was a shitstorm. Sonic Boom series was a fucking shitstorm. Like,
People like Sonic Mania though.
oh, that's fantastic. I'm not even that big into Sonic, and Sonic Mania is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
But like,
And
fuck
then you got,
man, those poor Sonic fans.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. You
Well,
poor,
like,
you
well-
poor bastards.
Well, something I thought about with something I thought about when we were talking about with Kingdom Hearts versus Child of Light, or the games in that trilogy, or like I feel like
What trilogy?
not Child of Light, Last Guardian. Whereas like I feel like they just had those 3 games. Like if you were like a Team Eco fan, you had for like
That's what you have to cling to.
that you have those first 2 games, and then for 10 years that's all you had was those 2 games. Versus like
Kingdom Hearts similar, but they had a bunch of
they had like a bunch of like
Little things in
little things.
between.
Like there was no
Yeah.
side
There's
side titles.
Because there's like a lot of vague things that happen in the mainline
Which, like-
games. So
Yeah.
and the side games explain those vague things and also build up to the other one.
Which I-
but you had something to keep you going.
Well,
Which
that's
is
what
why,
I'm
like,
saying. Like you,
Yeah.
even though they were like side games, they still added to the main thing
Yeah.
very well. Unlike having like other games that have like a sideline game where it's like, it is like a sideline game, but it also doesn't really connect to anything like Legend of Zelda, like Spirit Tracks. And
Yeah,
things
they
like
got a
that.
lot of games too, and
I like Spirit Tracks.
which is also like which
not
also
saying
makes
it's
me
terrible.
wonder
Yeah, it
like
does connect with
if
things.
they have
Okay.
if they have all those games, like maybe that colors like how critical they may or may not be toward Kingdom Hearts 3,
Yeah.
because they haven't had to wait as long for a new Kingdom Hearts game. Like they didn't have like a new numbered Kingdom Hearts, but they had like a shitload of other ones.
But at the same time, that series is like one story,
Yeah.
whereas Ueda's games, the only thing he has ever said is like they are in the same universe.
Yeah.
Any other connection, that's up to you.
Yeah.
You know.
And like waiting, and I always feel like there has never really been a game where I have waited a long time to play it. Not I wasn't sitting around waiting for Last Guardian to come out. Like
Right.
Or do.
Cause that too. Cause I was like, but until Doom 2016 was announced, I just wasn't expecting another one.
Yeah.
Well,
and even when we first heard of that game, we didn't see it for a long time afterwards because it was that stealth QuakeCon thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And or games Bethesda's other games like Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. Like I'm never really sitting around waiting for them. Like I guess it's just because the next one is always a foregone conclusion to me.
But you've never replayed a series before the new one comes out?
Nah, especially not something like that.
Have you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Which ones?
I mean, I
That
can't.
you can think of at the moment.
Well, I kind of went backwards with the Ueda games, but I played Eco and The Last Guardian before the remaster of Shadow of the Colossus. You know, but I've done it with several series. Uncharted. Oddly enough, I never got around to playing Uncharted 4.
Yeah, I let you borrow that 2 years ago, and you still have that?
Collecting dust.
Okay, well.
I played the first couple hours of it,
Yeah.
and I was very disappointed. And I know that's not the consensus is that that's a great fucking game. I feel like Naughty Dog really dropped the ball on it. I really do.
Well, it's also
I don't think the
think
gameplay has ever been the strongest part of Uncharted.
No, absolutely not.
I also feel like there is something bittersweet about replaying all these Kingdom Hearts games one after another because I can really, really compare the gameplay between the two of them, and so things that were fine before are annoying now.
Well, with Uncharted though, right? That's a good example because I feel like I know one person who likes Uncharted more than me. That's Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, I haven't talked to Patrick.
And you know, until Uncharted 4, until PlayStation 4, really, the hardcore PS3 fans fucking loved Uncharted. Nobody else really gave a shit.
Yeah.
And now people are like, oh yeah, I've loved Uncharted forever. It's no, you fucking have not. No, you have not.
Which,
I don't see how that is because they were before PS4 and the PS3 they were selling it as a bundle with controllers and the system. And
well, with Uncharted 3 came bundled, sure, and that was the best selling Uncharted game to date. They've gradually sold better and better, but people that have claimed to be there since Drake's Fortune, I'm sorry, the sales do not back that up.
I feel like we sold a lot of them whenever I was there because I was working when that came out.
You were working when Drake's Fortune came out?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the sales figures for that game do not back that up.
That's crazy.
But, you know, a lot of people jumped on with PlayStation 4, and rightfully so. You know, those are great fucking games. They re-released the trilogy. But I don't know anybody that was looking forward to Uncharted 4 more than me, except for Patrick. Yeah. You know? And man, I mean, I should finish it. I'm sure one day I will finish it, but
I feel
within the first couple hours, I was
honestly,
like,
Tom,
Jesus.
I feel like I said, the gameplay of Uncharted has never been its strong suit. The narrative is a strong suit.
It wasn't the gameplay that was disappointing me. It was the narrative that was disappointing me.
What is was it pacing
No, we've talked about it. It depends too heavily. It's resting on its laurels.
Oh, that's right.
That's all that game is.
Yeah.
Remember these things that Naughty Dog did before?
Yeah.
Not even just Uncharted.
Yeah, Crash.
You know?
Crash and
Yeah.
everything.
And it's come on, man.
Sometimes I like being pandered to.
I do too, but
sometimes I
not
don't.
to that extent.
Sometimes I don't.
The first 2 hours of that game, it's so heavy-handed.
Yeah.
You get the dialogue with your brother talking about your previous adventures. You get the scene in the attic with all your trinkets from the past games. You get the Crash Bandicoot thing, and this is all within the first hour of the game. You know.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much.
I am glad, as much as I like the world ends with you, I'm glad that in Kingdom Hearts Stranger of Distance, those characters are just in one of the worlds.
Sure.
I actually, now that I think about it, I probably will replay The Last of Us again before The Last of Us 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Granted, it's only one game, so that's not that
No.
bad.
And you know what? If Hennig was directed that game, it would not be doing that shit.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
You know, and I think, and that's funny too because I actually consider the gameplay of The Last of Us to be superior to Uncharted, and I actually like that story better too. But I think that's just me connecting.
I mean, the stories are so very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
And that's just the narrative of.
It's the road to Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
you know?
I connect more with the road than Indiana Jones.
Sure.
Like Indiana Jones is fun, but I like.
Well, that's what Uncharted's always been.
Yeah.
It's a fucking romp. It's a popcorn flick, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But
It's just a popcorn flick that's not particularly fun to play through, but like you know.
But it's accessible by a large crowd that doesn't necessarily have the skills in video games that you both have.
You know, it sucks though because like I guess I don't feel like that's like I don't necessarily feel like that's true because
I have no issue with the gameplay for Uncharted. I don't think it does anything like fantastic.
I think the
but I
shooting
think
is
it's
bad.
just.
And I think that if,
disagree.
I think that the shooting is bad, and I think that if I didn't play third-person shooters, I would have a heck of a time with that game. Like, but you know, and it's not to say that I think Uncharted is a horrible franchise because I definitely don't think that. I wouldn't have bought every game in that series if I thought that.
Golden Abyss.
Except for that one, and I wouldn't have bought the first 3 games remastered on PS4 if I actually thought
Right.
that I thought they were terrible. I just think that
Yeah, they're great fucking games. They really are.
they're not the pinnacle of video game design that I think that some people claim that they are. But at the same time, you know, I kind of also give it a pass in that regard because of, you know, with the games that have like a really shitty story to them, and then the gameplay needs to be on point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in order to justify me like getting through that, I consider the story of the first 3 Gears of War games. Granted, I didn't play all the way through part 4, so I don't know how that story turns out. I imagine more of the same, but the story is the weakest part of Gears of War, right? But the gameplay is great.
But
Yeah.
Dom and Maria.
I don't know. I really do think like Drake's Fortune and Among Thieves, at the time those games were released, did things that you did not see in games at that time. And I think because of that, they were technical marvels.
Yeah.
I think they're fantastic games. I just think 4 is not what everybody thinks it is.
Yeah. I think
But I
that
say that having not played all of it.
Yeah.
So
it like that referential kind of presentation kind of just really like just thins out rather quickly. But at the same time, like I always hate it when people say, you know, the game gets good this many hours in.
Mhm.
Like, how about the game be good hour 1?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
well,
Absolutely.
I think that waiting for the controls to become more natural or the adjustment to it, and saying like it gets a lot better once you get used to like a certain feature because it's like new or different. I think that's fair to tell somebody.
Yeah.
Sure, but for Uncharted, that's not a problem for me.
Well,
You
not Uncharted, but like
Like I know those controls right away.
not Uncharted, but specifically like Dream Drop Distance. Now that I have the potions and stuff that make the meter run, and like I've gotten the flow thing easier on there, it's a lot easier to speed through this game.
Yeah. And that's good. You know, for you in the situation you're in with that game, that's good.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's
Well, at the same time, like I've always agreed with what he just said. Like, you know, we've talked about it before. People, oh, you like Final Fantasy Tactics. You got to play Tactics Ogre. Oh, you'll like it after just give it a few more hours. You'll like it. Fuck you! I'm not giving it any more hours.
Like,
you know,
because
I'm
I just don't have that kind of time, you know. And also, like you talk, like I did try because I'm excited. At least I thought I was excited for Devil May Cry 5, and I was like, you know what? Let me play through Devil May Cry 4, and you know, get myself like pumped up for Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah.
Because that trailer was pretty badass. But then I was playing Devil May Cry 4. I just got bored, you know, and like
I don't think you need to.
When
And
God of War-
5 looks way different than the other games.
yeah.
for God of War 3, I was gonna play through 1 and 2 beforehand, and then I was like, fuck it, I remember it, I'm gonna play it. But with that one, I mean, yeah, like there's a lot of lore in it, but it's not like it's nothing groundbreaking.
Well,
the story's not complicated. It's just it's fun. It's fun.
And Santa Monica does consider this to be a soft reboot. Like it is a sequel, but it is also a soft reboot. Which is why they're calling it just God of War.
Oh, this one, yeah,
You know.
no. I'm not gonna replay him for this one because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's a dad now. His past doesn't matter.
I mean, there are references to the previous games, but
And I'll probably be happy to see them, but like.
Based on the way the first couple of God of War start, I imagine Kratos is a dad a few times over.
sure.
I mean, there's sex in all of them.
Yeah.
Did we ever confirm if there's QuickTime sex in the new one?
I haven't
We did
played it,
not.
so I don't know.
Well, I'm almost done. Or not almost done. I'm a third of the way done with Dream of Distance, and then I only have is Kingdom Hearts
Is
key
there QuickTime sex
back
in Kingdom
cover.
Hearts?
No,
Okay.
thankfully, because they're children. So it's Kingdom Hearts key back cover is like an anime movie I gotta watch after I finish this, and then I am done.
Ah, that game
until
gives
3.
you homework.
And then, once I finish Kingdom Hearts, I'm playing God of War next, and I'm super stoked about it. And I'll let y'all know if there's QuickTime sex.
Okay, Shanee, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like your dedication to your craft. I'll say that. But I am excited for you to discover new games.
It's been a lot of time. It's been a lot of hours.
She's just a different gamer than we are,
Like,
right? Like,
I've put in over 100 hours on Birth by Sleep.
well, not even that, but like when you play a game, like you really play a game, you know, like
Oh, I like to complete everything.
whether
Yeah.
it was Persona or Breath of the Wild.
It definitely
or
seems like you're getting
whatever
your
it
money's
might
worth
be.
out of those games.
Yeah, you definitely do. Whereas you
Yeah.
and me, we buy so many games that like if I see credits in most things, I'm happy to move on. Unless it's something I'm super fucking into, credits and I'm done.
Like,
you know?
I unlocked.
Yeah, like near exactly.
I unlocked 3. So in Birth by Sleep, you play 3 different routes, and then at the end there's like a last boss, and then after that there's 3 more optional bosses if you do all this other stuff. So I also had to do all that.
Is Zipper Pete an optional boss or a mandatory boss?
No, Zipper Pete is not a Birth by Sleep thing. It is a Kingdom Hearts 2 thing.
I would love it so much if, like, when you find him, like, a meter fills up and it just has Zipper Pete over it. And for some reason, it's got, like, Dark Souls music playing when you fight him.
Sure.
I will say I just finished the Notre Dame world and Dream of Distance, and man, I forget how good that movie is and how much
Which movie?
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh.
Because like Frollo just like wants to just commit genocide.
Frodo?
Frollo,
Oh.
the guy who like is like Quasimodo's master.
Frollo?
Yeah.
Rolo?
Frollo is his name.
Okay. I'm gonna look.
Okay then.
All right, I think it's a good stop. His name is Frollo.
I guess just like 2017, great year for video games, and with what we have coming up, going into the end of 2018, we have a lot to look forward to, and
There's been a lot that's been good coming out already.
yeah, and like there are a lot of games that are coming out that I'm not gonna play, but they're also these are also games that a lot of other people are going to play.
I think what's great is like for the past few years, seems like we haven't had the summer drought.
Yeah.
You know.
Next month we have this coming month in September we have Spider-Man, which
Y'all will be playing.
yeah,
Blade Strangers is out tomorrow.
yeah, and it just there are all these games that are coming out that people are just excited for, and it's awesome to see people like, especially with like all the shit to like be upset about. I think it's just awesome to see people like
Get hyped
for something that's like, that they're looking forward to. And with every, like, whether it be Black Ops or Madden or Street Fighter or whatever, like if that game is what you want it to be, then that's awesome, because I like seeing that kind of discourse around, like great experiences like that. And likewise, I feel bad for people who got a game that they've been waiting for and hated it, but
It's happened.
I mean, it's bound to happen sometimes, I feel bad for the guy who saw Bound by Flame on Tumblr one day and waited for that game to come out and then bought it. And
That was both of us.
yep.
I feel sorry for you both as well.
But we have so many other great games to play that it's a small loss. Tom, is Spider-Man a day one purchase for you?
I don't know if it's day one for me just because I've got so much I'm playing right now.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how fast I clear out this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell with some of these Switch games, Like Captain Toad, I could finish tomorrow. It might be a week from now.
Yeah.
Sexy Brutale, I've heard, is like as short
That's
as 5 hours.
That's a point and clicker?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's kind of like reverse Sherlock Holmes. Like the crime has already happened. You watch the crime happen.
Okay, so I know who did it.
But you rewind time to try to prevent the crimes.
Oh, like Time Cop.
Sure.
Okay.
So yeah, it's hard to say. Like the length of these games, there's like big question marks on them. You know.
Yeah.
And I do intend to try to finish some of these up before I get to Spider-Man. I will be playing Spider-Man.
You should
Will
make a
it
list.
be on the 7th? Who knows?
Yeah.
You should make a list.
Nah, I'm not doing that.
Alright, I'll make a list for you.
No, you won't.
When is Red Dead?
November?
October.
I
November.
think. Maybe October, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
not sure.
also be playing that.
Oh, most definitely.
I will, but like that's another one. Like I don't
wonder
feel
what-
the need for Red Dead Day 1. I don't.
Alright, I wonder what I'm gonna play after God of War. I don't know.
Spider-Man.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play Spider-Man.
Splah.
I'm not gonna play Spider-Man.
Well, you know, you got that Switch, Shanee.
Yeah.
So maybe you play some Splatoon? Maybe you play some Mario Tennis?
I'm not gonna play Mario Tennis.
Maybe you play
I think I'm gonna buy
Captain Toad?
I'm gonna buy Pool Panic.
Okay. Sure.
Well, that's it. Thanks once again for joining us for the Save Continue podcast. As always, it is a pleasure bringing the show to you. My name is Ryan Robinson. That's Shanee.
Bye, guys.
That's Tom.
Bye, guys.
See you next week.